This is a podcast or something like that. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Verbal Journal podcast. It's a weekday episode. That's right. It is a Monday, not a Sunday, and not a Saturday, as I did a couple episodes ago. I don't think I've ever done a weekday before, right? I talked about it, but I don't think I ever did it. I was all talk. Well, it's a weird weekday. Oh my gosh. You might be wondering, why is the podcast titled Paincast? And that's right, I'm referencing the title in the podcast. Something I don't always, feel comfortable doing because it's, usually an unknown entity at the point when I'm recording. But here I actually know because I already thought about it because I'm in physical pain. Normally I wouldn't record a podcast if I didn't feel great, but it's like, I don't know, I can talk, I have neck and shoulder and back pain and tension that just came on really strong yesterday. It's like I've had not great sitting habits and stuff, and I sit too much and I'm not paying attention to my posture, but usually it's just like a slight annoyance. And then I just snapped something yesterday in some way, like just a small movement, just, jostled my whole sort of system. And immediately I was like, whoa, I just like twisted something or sprained something. And I guess the two main spots are like the bottom of my neck, like the sort of spine area, and then the right shoulder blade, it's like my right side, and there's so much tension. It's really intense. I think it's, God, it's hard to say if it's getting better. What I've learned a few things in the last 30 hours or so of dealing with this. At first I thought lying down would be good, but unfortunately it's not. I've found that lying on the floor is good. So I'll just lie on the floor, and I'll probably sleep lying on the floor tonight. And I took a nap lying on the floor today, and I actually slept, a little bit. And I just think if you're on a bed, your muscles are working. They're sort of straining a little bit because there's cushion, and I just feel like it doesn't allow my muscles to turn off in a weird way. Not that it's comfortable lying on the floor. I really hope this goes away soon. I sort of need a massage. I might just go get a massage tomorrow or something. It's so expensive to get a massage. But get a massage. I tell them to be extremely gentle, But I've been just trying to rub my shoulder blade and my body. And they gave me a shot of, it's what's it called? A non-steroidal anti-inflammatory or whatever. It's called Toradol, I believe. So it's like a strong ibuprofen, and they gave a shot of that shit to me on the ass. Well, it was in the ass, but not in the normal way we mean when we say that. So in the gluteal musculature. But yeah, I really am in a lot of pain, and I feel like I'm having a lot of muscle spasms, I think is the word for it. And so it's just really uncomfortable. But I don't know. I didn't. I figured recording is fine. I'm standing. So it's not only is it the podcast I've done where I'm in the most pain, it's, I believe, the only podcast I've ever done standing. So it's the standing paincast. I might just call it that. Who knows? There is some variability still. I've taken, I believe, is it 5 or 6? Let's say 5. I think it's only 5 hot showers in the last 30 hours. 5 hot showers, and now I know to alternate it with cold. I wasn't sure about that, so you might hear ice packs sort of clicking and making ice pack noises, because I'm going to be ice packed to the gills for this episode. So I hope you're ready for that. So yeah, it's Monday. It's a weird Monday because I don't have work. That's rare for me to not see clients on a Monday. But that's actually just sort of lucky that I don't have work, so I can deal with this pain. And I went to the doctor and stuff. So that is a little bit lucky, but it does feel like such a weird day. It's like I've just not seen anyone except the medical professionals and the Uber drivers. my Uber driver today coming home from the doctor, I was like, oh, I don't want to be difficult, but if you could try to drive like really smoothly, I have like a lot of pain. And yeah, because obviously being in the car is actually really tough when you're in pain. It's really not good for your muscles and your neck in particular. And he was like, oh, totally, man. I actually have huge back issues. And he's getting like a spinal surgery in October. And it definitely put things in perspective a little bit for me. But also he drove very well. And yeah, it was very good. So yeah, this is crazy to be dealing with this. I'll probably take like 3 more hot showers. They also gave me muscle relaxant medication. So it's like it's some sort of what is it? Cyclobenzaprine hydrochloride. So I think it's, muscle relaxant. It's it kind of makes you trip out though. I've been like hallucinating for the last 12 hours. So I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work. Just kidding. But yeah, no, it's just a muscle relax. It doesn't do that much, but hopefully it does something because if I feel bad in like at this time tomorrow, I'm going to be going to the emergency room instead of just like like I'll have to get like imaging done. Like I'll have to get them to take a freaking CT scan or some shit. So that's not ideal money wise, and I'd prefer not to do that. So I'm really hoping that this is muscular and that I notice an improvement, because it's been like 30 hours, as I said, and I haven't really noticed any improvement. I can sort of say now I feel similar to how I felt right when it started, but it's gotten super bad. Like right after lying down for a while, it would just get so bad. Like all my muscles would be so much more tense after lying down. So, I didn't realize it would be that bad, but I think I'm going to be okay. I don't know. It just makes me think like I just sort of had this thought about myself before doing the podcast. It's like, I almost feel like part of me exaggerates, not really exaggerates, but like exaggerates how much a problem has to interfere. And I guess it's my like fight or flight mode, but I'm sort of like, okay, I need to devote all my attention to this. I mean, this really is bad. Like this is actually really bad. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to be able to just always remember that life is, going on, and there's still like it doesn't have to be, I don't have to think when something goes wrong, okay, that's going to stop everything, that I want good to happen. Not that I consciously think that, but I don't know, part of me just had this insight about myself where it's like, I think I have a hard time just like remembering that like even when bad things are going on, there's plenty of good things as well, or that, that I can still do. So like part of what I'm trying to say is just as simple as like, okay, I have 2 teleconference appointments tomorrow. I don't have to, even if I feel as bad as I do now, I'll still be able to do them probably. Like I'll just have to I'll do standing, which I've done standing therapy before. I've done for part of COVID, I was having back, and I don't remember what it was actually specifically. What was it? Oh, no. Yeah, I was having a different issue from sitting too much, but it was like muscular. And I just had to, I did stand for like weeks. I did therapy standing. It was tough. I got to be honest. It's a lot, I'm like an athlete. But I think it's going to be okay. It's a weird situation, but yeah, at the end of the day, yesterday morning here, did I already say this? I don't think I did. I'm not joking. Here's what set it off. Okay. So here's what brought me from like, oh, I should stretch more. I should do yoga more, to like, holy shit. What just happened? I think I need to see a doctor. What took me from point A to point B? I sneezed. I seriously sneezed. That's what happened. I sneezed and like something clicked in my neck, and here we are 30 hours later, with an ice pack on my neck after going to the doctor and taking 5 or potentially 6 hot showers. But hey, you know what? We are moving forward, and what else is there to say? But we're moving forward, and hey, at least I'm alive, right? I mean, at least I'm alive, and it does kind of remind you of like how powerless you can be, and how nature has its limits, and like can impose them on you, and how there are so many more powerful forces that can, like, just like the fact that gravity would like like I would be like turning over in bed, and like gravity would be pulling like one muscle. It was so bad, y'all. Oh my God. I do feel a little bit better than like 12 hours ago, because it was, I mean, I was like I should not have tried sleeping in my bed, because it made everything so much worse. And I would turn over, and it was such an ordeal, so much pain. Right now I still do have shooting pains in my upper back, and like, I guess, spasms, but I don't think it's more tense than it was, and I feel a little bit less of like a throbbing soreness in my spine, which is always good. We love that. I do feel that I feel like this is gonna take a week or so. I think the doctor implied like it's not gonna go away immediately. That was helpful. Yeah, but it does make you think about the limits of your that like, we don't think of ourselves as like, when we're healthy, we don't think of ourselves as limited as we are, in fact. And a good injury like this, is enough to remind you of your kind of limitations and make you humble a little bit. Like, it really made me be like, I have to stretch. I really do. I have to stop just going from one thing to the other, from the computer to the, fucking painting, or, just like, and I need to probably exercise more and do more, maybe just like yoga every day. Honestly, I got to do yoga every day. It's not a big deal. I've been getting back into it, but I got to do it more. Oh my God. And part of me just feels like someone could just snap my neck and my spine and just put it into place or something. But, what did the doctor say about how I was standing like in a lopsided way? She was like, what's the word she used? Oh, it was so funny. She was like, you're cockeyed. She said cockeyed. I was like, okay, yeah, my body is cockeyed is what's going on. Yeah, no, I know for sure. So all this is to say, that's where I'm at. Other than that, life is great. Had a good weekend, hung out with some friends, did, my own stuff, making art, hanging out, doing my thing. And I'm happy to be here doing the VJP, but it might be a short episode. I'm looking at what we have to talk about today. Should we go to Reginald the data guy first? Okay, I was going to save that for the end, but we could just go to Reginald the data guy right now. So as you might know, we got Reginald here serving up the data for us on a wide variety of things. Reginald actually has recently been promoted. He's normally just been doing commentary on the podcast and the data according to the podcast, and related to the podcast. But he recently got promoted, so where Reginald is actually doing the data for the YouTube channel. So he's doing commentary and analysis. He's not talking, but he's providing written commentary and analysis to inform my performance here. And Reginald is doing that also for the YouTube channel now. So it's not just the podcast, it's the YouTube channel. And Reginald wanted to start this by reporting the YouTube channel hit 7 million views. So is that right? Wait, that's not right. Reginald, what are you talking about? Wow, it is right. 7,015,112 right now. The reason, even though I wrote this down, the reason I was actually just genuinely doubting myself for a second was like, I'm like, wait, how is it 7 million? Is that for real? Because, I mean, the most viewed video is 4.3, and then we have 730, and then we have 304, so that's like a million. So it's 5.3. Add another 300,000, another 260. That's 5.3 plus 0.3, so 5.6 plus 0.3, 5.9, 6.2, 6.4, 6. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's really wild to me that like there's still 2.7 million views to cover to get to 7 from the most viewed video. Like, and that's crazy to me that the rest of my videos add up to 2.7 million views. That's a lot. Wow. So good for us. Thanks, Reginald, for that data. That's very spicy. And okay, and Reginald's trying to follow it up. No, you're not giving commentary on other people's YouTube channels, Reginald. That's not... I don't care. That's someone else's YouTube channel. Okay, so we've talked... Yeah, I'll mention it. So we've talked a little bit about Hans Niemann in the chess segments of this channel. And what I wanted to mention now, as per... This is all over the place. We would never be talking about the chess segment, like this. But at the time of last episode, so not this episode, but at the time of last episode, the person we've been talking about a little bit, Hans Niemann, who is a chess grandmaster famous for several scandals, and now he's making he was making daily YouTube videos, his journey to world chess champion, but they've become not so daily. But at the time of last episode, not this episode, as per Reginald, Hans Niemann's channel had uploaded 666 videos. So Reginald's telling me that is some sort of data. That's not data, Reginald. I'm sorry, but that's not data. That's just like a weird observation. Are you trying to say that? Are you trying to say anything? No. Okay, you're just pointing it out. You're just asking questions. It's not a question. You can't say you're just asking questions. That's not a question. That was not. You're making a statement, and I'm just trying to. Oh, there's an implied question. Okay, well now I'm looking at Hans Niemann's channel, and he has 679 videos. I'm not joking, Reginald. What do you mean they were private and now they're public? How do I know that? All I know is you said he uploaded 666 videos. Then he uploaded one more since last week, which was, I believe, promoting the promoting courses, as I mentioned. Oh, wait, that wasn't since last week. That was 9 days ago. Reginald, you were all over the place. But anyways, yeah, real talk, 679 videos, not 666. So that's, I don't care if he unprivated them. I feel like you should have found that out before telling me right now live on air, Reginald. Okay. Also, we'll go into the chess segment from this. The candidates tournament and the women's candidates tournament ended yesterday. Very exciting finish. Tan Zhongyi is the women's candidate winner. So she will be playing against Ju Wenjun in the Women's World Chess Championship, which should be really fun. I don't believe she's played in it before. I could be wrong. I think it was Alexandra Goryachkina last time in the World Chess Championship, and she got very close. I believe she lost by a very small margin. And then the Open Candidates Tournament also finished yesterday, and it was extremely exciting because there were two boards that were so important on the final day. Sometimes there are no boards that are important on the final day because the winner's been decided. Here, we had one person in the lead, and then only a half point behind, which is just a draws value instead of a win. A half point behind was 3 people tied for second. So that is extremely close. And all 4 people were playing each other on the top, on the 2 boards in the men's, in the open section. So, meaning there were just these 2 extremely exciting games, Nakamura versus Gukesh Domaraju, and Fabiano Caruana versus Jan Nepomniachtchi, the American versus the Russian, both of them having won the candidates previously and played in the World Championship and lost. So that was sort of the board of like the, people who definitely feel like they deserve to be the winner of the candidates and deserve another shot at the title. And then the other board, Gukesh and Nakamura, it's more like, oh, this would be exciting. This would be new, you know. Nakamura obviously is the world's biggest chess streamer, and Gukesh Domraju is, I believe, only 17 years old. Maybe he's 18 or 19 or something, but he's from India, and he's extremely good at chess, but he, you know, I mean, he's won some major tournaments, but he's extremely young and new, and he ended up winning the candidates tournament because he drew Nakamura, and then Fabiano and Jan Nepomniachtchi drew in a very long game with lots of chances, especially for white, for Fabiano, but he didn't capitalize on those, and he ended up drawing, so that they ended up still half a point behind Domraju Gukesh, or Gukesh Domraju. I actually don't know how to say his name. That happens because I know in other cultures sometimes they say the last name first, and also I've been confused about how it's written on the chess broadcast. Like sometimes it's switched around or not. But anyways, I should have looked that up before going on this podcast. Anyways, congrats to Gukesh. Yeah, worse than that. Like that's bad for me to not know which is technically his first name. That's not a great look, but it's a better look than these chess broadcasts with chess.com, and they're making these puns on his name, like Gukesh Money or something. It's like really, honestly, yeah, white people should know not to do that. As a white person, it's just like it sounds like you're making fun of someone's name for not being white enough. You know what I mean? I know that's not what you're doing, but it does sound like that. Yeah, this is funny though. Another chess thing. I was watching baseball and the commentators said this is when it becomes a chess match about the baseball game. And I just thought it was funny that they said chess match instead of chess game. They said, oh, this is when it becomes a chess match. I've heard people mention chess in sports broadcasts all the time. It's very, very frequently referenced as a metaphor. Oh, this is a real chess game. But sometimes they say chess game and sometimes they say chess match. And I thought that was really funny because there is a difference. I mean, a match is... I mean, it's sort of an interesting thing. Like in tennis, a match is a series of sets, which is a series of games. But in a sense, a match is almost like a game in that it's contained within itself. But it's not. It's a match. And it's a series of games that form sets. But chess, there are not sets usually. There are some tournaments find a way to do similar thing, actually, which is kind of cool. But it's... a match would just be like the World Championship is a match. They're rare. You don't see these high-level players playing matches very often, as it implies you're just up against the same opponent repeatedly. But technically, if they're playing like best of three, that's a match or something. So it was just funny to me that he said match. It's not that funny, actually, when I talk about it. And then right after that, it cut to an advertisement for the Papa John's. Oh, no, it wasn't an advertisement. Well, it was a commentator's advertising this is in the baseball game I was watching, advertising the Papa John's bullpen box that you can book via email at the stadium. So you can book the Papa John's bullpen box. It's presumably a place. Still nothing for the Grinds My Gears segment. Sorry about that. That really grinds my gears when I can't think of anything that grinds my gears. I guess I guess my mortality and my physical body sort of. Okay, and on to the desk segments. I finished the Rothko biography. I mentioned that for the biography desk. I think I mentioned that last week. And then now I'm reading a book on rivalries between artists and like friendships/rivalries. I read first part about Francis Bacon and Lucian Freud, who I didn't know anything about, either of them. I had just heard of them and seen one or two paintings. So very cool to read, very interesting. And then second section was about, wait, what was the second section? Oh, yeah. Manet and Degas. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I didn't know too much about them. So I learned a lot more about them as people, which is what's interesting to me. These are the lives of these artists. They had a really interesting rivalry. At one point, Degas painted Edouard Manet and his wife. And then when he came back to Manet's studio, he saw his own painting slashed, and Manet had attacked it. No one really knows why, and the author never fully is able to say why, but it's presumably something about Degas' representation of the wife maybe was insulting, but it might not have just been that she was not rendered in a pretty enough way. There might have been some deeper thing because Edouard Manet was he was married to a woman. They were in Paris, I believe, and he was married to a Dutch woman who might have been like one of his like teachers, like his piano teacher. Like, I don't know, like I forget, or like his tutor or something. I forgot how he met her, but he ended up being. She was a little bit older than him, I think, and then they had a child together when he was like really young, at like 18 or like 20 or something, or like really young, and then Manet was like very well born. He was like a privileged family, so he couldn't have a kid out of wedlock. So they pretended that it was he did marry her, and then they pretended that it was her brother and he was the kid's godfather. And then so there's maybe the idea that Degas was almost like hinting at some sort of secret in his representation of Manet's wife, who her name is slipping my mind, but she was great at the piano and he showed her playing the piano. So now I'm reading the section on Picasso and Matisse. It's cool to learn more about Matisse. Everything more you learn about Picasso just makes you hate him more and more, which you should. But Matisse, he's an interesting guy. Oh, Fantasy Desk was so sick. I ended up winning yesterday. It was so down. Last week, my match. That's a match because it's a bunch of different. It's a match up, actually, they call it. Bunch of different days. You got 7 days to accrue points with your fantasy baseball team. So I did that, and I on the last day, it was down to the wire, as I mentioned on the last episode. I won, and I actually exerted a lot of managerial responsibility. It wasn't all luck. I did something interesting on the last night. So I'm up by like 8 points, which is not a big buffer. Okay, but there's only because like 8 points. If a player gets a home run, that's like 6 points because it's a run, a hit, and 4 total bases. So I think it's like 6 points. And so 8 points is just like that plus another. So it's like they could have come back, but it was Sunday night. They only had one game left. There was only one baseball game left to play to accrue points. And it was a Dodgers game, and they had Mookie Betts, and a great player. And I have a lot of players on the Dodgers on my fantasy team, and I watch the Dodgers. And so I was like, okay, Mookie Betts could get 8 points. It's definitely possible. He just has to have like a really good game. It's not the most likely thing. It's worth betting against. It's hard to get 8 points. You need a really good blowout game. But I was like, okay, but I have like 3 hitters who will be accruing points. They could get negative points if they strike out. But usually, 3 hitters, probably I'll get, one of them Shohei Ohtani, who's been doing great. Like I'll probably do okay. And so what I did was I had a pitcher in that game as well. I think it was Yu Darvish, who's a great starting pitcher for the Padres, and he was throwing against the Dodgers. But I took him out because I said it's going to be too complicated with him throwing. First of all, you never know when the Dodgers are just going to like slam a team to the ground. I mean, they got 10 runs in yesterday's game. Like, they're so good. It's really a risk to have your pitcher go up against the Dodgers because they could get negative 10 points. You know what I mean? Like, so it was enough where I was like, this could be bad. So I actually benched my starting pitcher and just counted on the fact that they wouldn't get enough points with Mookie Betts and I would get a couple points with my hitters. And I did. And I won by a fair bit. And it was great. And that was against a really good person in the league. And then I won again this past week. So that was really cool. Last year, the guy I beat, not this past week, which I just mentioned, but the one I was talking about for longer, that guy that I beat, he beat me last year 236 to 229 in our matchup. And I won by just I think I had 245 to 235 or something. So a very close matchup we had last year as well. God, I'm so uncomfortable. Fucking neck. Okay, so we're gonna OJ follow-up. So I read this story on ESPN, which is the only news source I'd look at. And it says OJ Simpson lawyer says Fred Goldman's claim will be accepted. So this is about OJ Simpson, his lawyer. At first, when OJ died, his lawyer was saying that these payouts wouldn't happen to the families of the people he harmed or killed or whatever. I don't know all the lore, but it's just like this quote really stuck with me. OJ died without having paid the lion's share of the civic judgment that was awarded in 1997 after jurors found him liable. With his assets set to go through the probate process, the Goldman and Brown families could be in line to get paid a piece of whatever Simpson left behind. So yeah, that's good. I hope they get a lot of money, because that's crazy that he died without paying the lion's share of the civil judgment. You know, people will like get ordered by a court to pay shit and then just not do it. You know, they'll be like, okay, like you in what army? So yeah, hopefully, you know, people don't do that as much because it's bad. All right. And before we go, we're going to read the mailbag. You can write into verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. And, okay. Thank you. Google wrote in this week, and Google said, learn more about our updated terms of service. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. We're updating our terms of service on May 22nd, 2024, so we wanted to let you know ahead of time. These changes won't affect the way you use our services, but they should help make it easier for you to understand what to expect from Google. Oh, this is very interesting. Okay, we're going to save this for generative AI terms. We're moving our existing generative AI additional terms to our main terms of service. Okay. Cool. I'm sure that, I really look forward. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure, at some point. But yeah, that's it for today. A little bit of a shorter pod, I think. I don't see exactly at the moment how long it is, but I think it was shorter. I'm going to take 6 more hot showers and pray, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. I will talk to y'all in the future. Okay, goodbye. This is a podcast or something like